Hey folks, and welcome to They Might Be Racing. Today, I'm here to talk to you people about how to drive on the freaking highway. Because after logging about 8,000 miles this summer on the highways of the entire western part of the United States and the upper parts of Mexico, I have come to one conclusion, is that there is maybe 1% of the Americans that I run across on roads actually know how to drive on a highway. The rest of you are just frickin' worthless. So I'm going to take a few seconds here, or a few minutes, to explain to you how the heck you're supposed to drive on a road. Because apparently no one ever taught you this stuff, and it makes me crazy. So I've got my handy dandy pad over here. You can see I've drawn out a single lane highway. So let me explain this to you. You're derping along on a single lane highway in your dirtmobile. There's this thing, it's called a rear view mirror. You should check it. In fact, you should check the ones on either side as well as the one in the middle. At least, oh, I don't know, I'll be generous, every couple of minutes. Because the guy who might have been, oh, I don't know, down here, is now here, and you have no clue, and you're farting around along down the highway at some stupid slow speed, blocking this guy from passing you. It's absolutely aggravating to be stuck behind someone who rides the yellow line. So, when you are driving on a single lane highway, first off, you check your rearview mirror. Secondly, when somebody appears out of nowhere behind you, they generally want to drive faster than you're driving. So, rather than pulling in the middle of the road, or making angry gestures at the car behind you because they're driving faster than you think they should do, you should use a little common sense and common courtesy. On a single lane highway, you pull over to the white line and drive over there. That gives them extra room to pass you. So that when there is an opportunity to pass, they can pass you and they can do it safely. At the same time, when somebody passes you, you do not step on your accelerator to match speed with them. Douchebag. In a Beamer. Everywhere. You let off the gas until the person passes you and then you resume your speed. Now, person passing. You guys are just as bad. So when you come out of nowhere on the back of somebody, you give them a few seconds to realize you're there. You don't start flashing your headlights immediately, nor do you start doing this thing behind them. When you come up behind them, if it's safe to pass, go ahead and pass them. Hopefully they will have moved over. But if you are going to pass them, don't pass them at like half a mile an hour faster than they're driving. There's a skinny thing on the right. It's called an accelerator. Step on it. I don't care if you're exceeding the speed limit. It's a safety thing. That way you don't have two people blocking an entire highway when somebody's trying to drive down the other side. So pass them as quickly as you can and then resume your speed. It's not rocket science, folks. Now, there are some of you who are in the remedial class on this and don't even know what the lines mean. So over here, solid line with dashes on the side of your car. That means you are okay to pass people. Two solid yellow lines. Nobody passes. One dotted line. Everybody can pass. Dotted line on the opposite side. You have a solid yellow line. That means the people coming the other way can pass, but you can't. I can't believe I have to explain this to people at this point in time. I mean, it's not like roads are new. I mean, they've only been around for, I don't know, over 100 years. I mean, it's not like, you know, the Romans didn't set up rights of way on, you know, Roman roads 1,000 or so years ago. I mean, geez, guys, come on. So that's basically what you do on the single lane road. You use your rearview mirror. You be polite, you move over to pass. Move over to let people pass. And if you are the passer, you step on it and you get around them. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there just aren't enough single lane roads out in the West that are left. Everything is behemothly huge highways. But it's not that difficult to manage. It's really not. And if you are the guy in a camper or a caravan that's moving along at 10 miles an hour below the speed limit and the sign says, pull off to let people pass, pull off. This especially goes for the state of Washington. My God, you people drive me crazy. So now we're going to move on to 2-lane roads. Let's see if we can handle this. So now we're making a vast leap forward here, guys. We're going to 2 lanes. Now this is one more than 1 lane, so it's 2. Very confusing. This really tends to get people. So you say, oh wow, I've got 2 lanes. I can drive in both lanes now. There is still an actual process for this, okay? This is your driving lane. This is your passing lane. If you're driving in the passing lane, you're an idiot. So, you move over here. You drive along. You're driving, you're driving, you're driving, you're driving, and suddenly you come up on somebody who's driving slower than you. Guess what? You move over, you drive past them, speed up a little bit to get past them so you don't block anyone behind you, and then you move over into your lane again. And guess what happens? This passing lane stays nice and clear. It's fantastic. Now some of the other rules for a single lane highway still fit here. So if you're coming up on somebody from behind and you're doing a whole whopping mile an hour faster than them and you go to pass them, you don't pass them at 1 mile an hour faster. Because inevitably what will happen is you've now got somebody doing the right thing, an idiot, and somebody else who's now stuck behind an idiot. Really annoying. This is one of those things that absolutely kills me. Because it's inevitable. You're on an open stretch, 2-lane road, all the way ahead of you. You can see 50 miles. And you're driving along, and suddenly you got 2 morons in a mile-an-hour race running down the highway, each one kind of doing this. Oh my God. And then you end up with a line of traffic behind them because they can't do it. And for you folks that are afraid of semis, when you go to pass a semi, put your foot in it and go. Don't sit on the back corner of the semi going, oh, I'm too scared to pass it. Something's going to happen. He's going to squash me. Just pass the damn semi. Because guess what? The guy in the semi knows what he's doing. Or better yet, the guy in the semi, while driving in California, can only go 55 miles an hour. So if you're sitting here on his back corner at 55 miles an hour afraid to pass, you are holding everybody up. Drives me crazy. I just don't understand why people do this. And just drive. It's not that difficult. It really isn't. Here's another one, and this is a fantastic one, and this is something that most people just never do. So let's say we have an on-ramp that merges onto the highway. And so I've stopped to get a cup of coffee or something like that, and I'm trying to pull back on the highway. And I'm coming up to speed, and you're here in this lane, and there's nobody else on the road. What do? Do you proceed along your way and force me to have to hit my brakes, or worse, have to accelerate to try to beat you to the highway? Or do you, like every single semi-driver does because they have courtesy, and a few of you drivers do, you move over to this lane, I merge onto the highway, whichever one of us goes fastest takes off, the other one moves back over. It's not that difficult. And while we're at it, let's talk about breaking laws in this stuff. If somebody is pulled over for some sort of emergency, either it's a cop pulling somebody over for speeding, or because they're changing a tire, or something's happened to the vehicle, if it's an emergency vehicle in particular, but if it's anybody and they're pulled off to the side of the highway because, I don't know, you've got a flat tire, move over, give them a lane's worth of space, and go around, and then move back. Because the last thing you want to do is clip some poor pedestrian on the side of the highway who's trying to change his tire, and I'm certain the pedestrian doesn't want you to do it either. And if you do that around a cop, in a lot of states, that's illegal. And they can pull you over for that. Plus, it's just damn douchey, so don't do it. So now we're going to go to the advanced class. We're going to talk about 3 or more lanes of highway and what to do. And this is going to blow your mind, kids, so, make sure to get your notebooks out and take plenty of notes. Now, to keep things simpler for you folks out there who are learning a lot about this, I've only drawn one side of the highway. There's a whole other side of the highway here too, so just keep that in mind. So here we have 3 lanes. It could be 4, it could be 5. In LA, it could be 7, who knows. This, the direction, just to make sure you understand, the direction of traffic is this way. So this is the left-hand lane, the middle lane, and the right-hand lane. This is not your lane. This is not your lane. This is your lane. You drive over here until somebody is slower than you. And then what you do is you move over. And if you, once you're past them and there's nobody else, you move back. If there's still other people, they're moving slowly, you continue in this lane until you hit somebody who's moving more slowly than you. Then you get to use the left-hand lane. And only then. And you only get to stay there as long as you're the fastest car moving. If somebody comes up behind you, you move back. And you move back. It's not that difficult, folks, but it seems that everybody has trouble with this. My favorite stretch of road for this, as an example, is going from Phoenix to Tucson. Part of it's 2-lane, and you guys are confused enough about that. But the second it hits a 3-lane stretch heading down towards Marana, everybody feels compelled to be in this lane. Don't know why. Doesn't make any sense at all. But this is not your lane. This is not your lane. This is your